So this is a little tank update that we're doing. This is our new little friend, Twin Spot Goby. His name is Lopez. So Lopez has been with us for a couple of days, and we actually got Lopez because unfortunately we had to take Dwayne back to the fish store because he was getting really angry, and he actually started chomping pieces of JP's fins, and he was eating a whole bunch of the snails' little trunks and things that were coming out of the sand. So Lopez basically lives in this little cave, and all he really does is he goes around and eats all the stuff out the sand. So he skims through the sand and he eats that. So now what you can see, here's a little one of our snails, a zombie snail. He's coming up out the sand to check what's happening, and you can see that little top part, which used to be a lot longer than that little snout of his, or let's call it a trunk out the front, used to be a lot longer, but Dwayne managed to get hold of them, and he actually ate so many that most of my snails don't have any little trunks anymore. He didn't try it with Nelly because Nelly's way too big. There in the back you can see Lopez doing his thing again. So he's come out now. As you can see, he scoops it up with his mouth. He'll scoop up some sand with his mouth, and then he actually just like sort of sifts through it with his gills, or even like chews on it a little bit, and then spits the sand back out. And you can see the sand falling out behind his gills. So maybe a little bit later he'll come about further out, and then I'll be able to show you. But he basically is just sifting through that sand to get a whole bunch of tiny little foods out there. Now, what you can also see here is, oh, there's Danny. What's up, Danny? How you going, buddy? That's our 6-line wrasse. He's pretty happy there. And also what Lopez sometimes does is he comes and tries to clean out that entrance to his cave. So he comes out and he takes some of the food, some of the sand, and spits it out to make sure that it's always clean by his front door. So he's a lovely little fish, and I hope he does okay. Here's one of our little hermit crabs. He's just going around doing his own thing, minding his own business, probably picking up some fish poo, and just keeping the sand nice and clean. This is a red mushroom coral. We got it the same day that we picked up Lopez. There's a little one growing on the back of that stone. You can kind of see it just peeking out at the top. This coral, when I was at the fish store, the Tech Den in Caboolture, I showed him a picture of it and he told me what it was, but for the life of me, my memory's like a sieve. I can't remember what it was, but it's growing really nicely and it's doing quite well. Here is another mushroom which we got the same day as the red one, and this is a green one. And on that little rock, there's basically two. So here's JP and Wiz as well. They just like to be in film every now and again. So there we've got the two green mushrooms, or also called morphs, I think. Here we've got the two colonies of zoanthids. That one at the back there, that blue and green one, is growing really beautifully. It's actually spreading quite a lot. This coral I moved from the back. This is a goniopora, a purple goni, and it's actually like long stemmed and looks like a flower. Oh, there you go. There's our little 6-line wrasse popping up next to there. Danny just wanted to see what we were doing. And this one in the back corner here is also a goniopora. It's a different color one though, so this one's yellow. I've just fed them, so you can see if you look really carefully when the camera zooms in decent, properly. You can see there's in the middle of each of them there's a tiny little dot, and that's basically their mouth, and there's a bit of food in there for them. This one here, I want to say it's a star coral. That's what the man told me at the shop, I think, but I really can't remember. I wish I could remember these. I need to write it down. This growing really well, this one. So if you look on the right hand side, look, you can see the tiny little ones growing. So new little baby ones shooting out all along the side and up at the back. These little polyps that are sort of spreading out over that white piece of rock. These are the two hammers, or the one hammer. It's got two branches. It is really doing well. I haven't had any issues with this whatsoever. It hasn't given me grief. It hasn't done anything. It's just nice and puffy and healthy, and just always looks nice. It's one of my favorites. They move nicely and they're always nicely colored. So there's JP in his natural habitat. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. There's old Japes and Wiz. They're doing their thing. They're best of mates. They're always, everywhere they go, they are always together. They can't get enough of each other. So what we're going to do now is just have a little quick overview of the tank from here, and then I'm going to show you what I got the other day. So in the sump is something new. It's a Coral Box DC 300 skimmer. So here it is here, and you can see that it's got some brown stuff in it, and that brown stuff at the top is actually a whole bunch of fish poo. Its job is to pull out horrible junk from the water and keep the water clean. That little sort of screw over there helps to adjust how high the water is within the actual machine itself. So there's a little opening at the bottom. Underneath here you can see all that stuff. So all that basically is uneaten fish food or fish poo or something that, dirt that's not supposed to be in the water. And what it does is it actually gets sucked up and mixed in with the bubbles, and the bubbles then push the dirt up and out of the skimmer, which ensures that it doesn't stay in the water and then become rotten and really disgusting. So what we're going to do now is I'll just show you quickly the whole mechanism of this. It's a really good skimmer. It's only $260 and it's solid. Like, it really is solid, and it's working really well in my opinion for a skimmer that costs that amount of money. So what we have is, you can see down at the bottom there's that sort of little opening right in the center, and that's what you adjust with that little knob I showed you first. Now on that right hand side there, that's where the water goes into the pump. It goes through this 3D diffuser and basically adds lots and lots of air bubbles, which make this thick foam, and it comes out, squirts over the top, and gets collected in a cup, which I empty every couple of days. It then comes out of all the clean water, then basically comes out through there and back into circulation in the tank. It has a little adjuster, and that adjuster is here, like an electrical setting for the pump, where you can actually turn it faster with the plus sign. You can turn it slower with the minus sign, and you can actually switch it off with the button that says feed. So finally, we also put a lady that can sing in the tank, and she's in the top left. She even brought 2 of her friends with her, which is really nice for her.